found someone you'll love forevermore, then it's worth the price you'll have to pay to have to hold important, but forever is the phrase that means the love you found is gonna stay. Love can make you happy if you find someone who cares to give a lifetime to you and who has a love to share. Love can make you happy. 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 Love can make you happy.
Hi, J.K. Coltrain here. In addition to Summer Winds by James Marvell, we got Andrew Ruby, Guys Like Us. Trigger Happy with Holding On. And Joe Stewart with It's a Missing You Thing.
Song I'll ever sing, but it ain't you.
And yours truly, J.K. Coltrane, along with Colleen Walters with our duet called When I Close My Eyes.
Well, it has been a while, but we welcome back here in Bruce and to TV7 James Marvell. And just for those who may be watching the interview, and he has been here before, but it's been several years, James Marvell was with the group Mercy, and that was back in the 60s, and you had two big hits back then with the group Mercy.
Yeah, and we had an album, and it was on Warner Brothers. And it did spin out a few other national releases for us. Of course, Love Can Make You Happy was amazing. It went into the top 10. We were there with the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra. There we were, second to the Beatles. The Beatles had a song called Get Back at #1, and we had Love Can Make You Happy at that time.
At #2.
Right under the Beatles.
How old were you when you first started playing in a band and got interested? How did you become interested in music?
Well, my mom, and she did pass away a couple of years ago, she bought me my first guitar, and she knew that I loved it. And mothers always know these things, don't they?
Right.
They just know what their children like, and that got me going. Age of 12.
And then, how did Mercy form?
Well, in Tampa, Florida, I was there. I was really in a place with Bobby Bear's uncle, the country music legend.
Mm-hmm.
His uncle, Johnny Bear, was teaching Buddy and I, Buddy Good. He was a partner with me throughout the years in our teens. We were in our teens, and we were just playing a place, what they would have like a local, I would call it a honky-tonk back then. But the kids could come in, even underage, and be there if their parents were there. Johnny took us under his wing, Bobby Bear's uncle, Johnny Bear, and he taught us the ropes about country music. That's what I really loved. Even though the Beatles were catching on, Buddy and I kept growing our hair at that time, up here down to our waist, and we wanted to form a duo. Then Mercy came along, and I'll tell you more about that duo later that we did eventually, form. They were called the Country Cavaleers, but the group Mercy came along, part of them, with Jack Sigler. He was the writer of the song, Love Can Make You Happy. So his part of the group teamed up with my part, and we formed the band.
How many members were in the band actually?
Well, throughout the years, there's been off and on several members. At that time, a couple might have left. Jack Sigler was serving our country in the Navy, but he deserves a lot of credit because he was really an original member, lead singer of the group. I became also a front man for Mercy at that time. So I would say it was a group effort. That's the way I look at Mercy. It's part of history now, and I've always wanted to share whatever fame we have, obviously, with the whole band.
Where did your travels, once the Billboard charts hit it at number 2, where did your travels take you?
Oh my! And we wound up on the shows with like the Mike Douglas show. I remember Don Rickles was on when we were on, and we'd be on the road with such fabulous entertainers, Tommy James and the Shondells, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. We'd be doing shows with the Cow Sales. I don't know if you remember that. Hair. They had a song called Hair back then. We'd be booked. I'd phone and call in to Dick Clark, and he'd rate the record, and he'd have me on the other end, and the kids, when they used to rate the song, and he says, hey, Dick would tell me on the phone, Dick Clark, he says, you guys have a hit. You have a hit on your hand. So, it's just, it's an amazing life back then. We played the Astrodome in Houston. We'd do shows with 20 or 30,000 people out there in the fields. They were called pop festivals. And we'd be on shows and be around all these people that had the hits, the Box Tops. I understand the Box Tops are from the area here, or
That's
one of
right.
the member. And we'd do shows with them, and it was just an exciting part of my music.
Well, that is wonderful. I tell you what, it had to be an exciting time for you as a young man to be on the road like that, to have a number 2 Billboard hit with Mercy. But you followed it up with one called Forever.
Forever. And that was our second hit, and it was written by a fella in Nashville, Tennessee at the time. He had written it really in the late 50s or in the 50s, and I believe the Dippers had a big hit with it in the late 50s. It was called Forever. Mercy came along. We did it again in the late 60s. His name was Buddy Killen, the fellow who wrote the song. He had Tree Publishing. I don't know if you remember that, but as far as the industry, a lot of folks out there know who that is. And, it was a big hit for us again, but Love Can Make You Happy overshadowed the whole thing. It was so powerful, and being in the top 10 with Elvis, Sinatra, and the Beatles, that kind of became a stronger, more attention.
Music progressed from that type of music, that the pop, what we call rock and roll music, and it evolved through the 70s and the 80s, and of course a lot of country artists came on the scene then, and music kind of changed from the old rock and roll that we knew, where there was Roy Orbison, like you said, the Beatles, Rick Nelson, and the other people like that, and it kind of moved in a different direction. I know I heard you sing a while ago, and I know the audience would like to hear just a little clip of Before the Next Teardrop
Well,
Falls.
that's country.
I know it's country.
That's country.
I told you it evolved to country.
I think I'm going to dedicate this song to your great husband and
Thank
to
you.
you. I'll just do a line or two of it.
Okay.
Okay, this is just...
This will give our viewing audience a chance to hear you.
If he brings you happiness, then I wish you both the best. It's your happiness that matters most of all. But if he ever breaks your heart, if a teardrop ever starts, I'll be there before the next teardrop falls. Si te quiere de verdad y te da felicidad, te deseo lo más bueno para los dos. Pero si te hace llorar, a mí me puedes hablar. I'll be there before the next teardrop falls. Estaré contigo cuando triste estás. I hope William doesn't get mad at me.
Beautiful. No, he won't. William and I just celebrated 50 years of marriage.
Well, that's for your anniversary.
That was last year, but we appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. It was a beautiful song. Did a wonderful job of Freddie Fender's Before the Next Teardrop Falls.
Thank you.
Now, you've had the opportunity to travel since Mercy. You have been, you've been with the, I believe it's Country Cavaleers, or?
During that time we were in Tampa, I really loved country music. So we ran into Johnny Bear, and he gave us some ideas about it. His nephew, Bobby, would come into Tampa and see us, and he said, you guys should go to Nashville. But we were growing our hair at that time, and the folks out there can find us under Country Cavaleers even today, excuse me, on the old Wilburn Brothers shows by typing in Cavaliers, Cavaleers. As a matter of fact, he might have a clip. You folks might have a clip here if they'd like to air it, and see how we wound up with our image. We used our long-haired image back then. I was the guy on the rebel guitar, and Buddy had the American flag, and we would use that to try to draw the young people of that era and get them away from the drugs. We would give our anti-drug messages. That was a real purpose and the platform that I wanted to use to help get that message out, because look how terrible, how it's gotten. So we used our image, and the kids were drawn to the long hair, and we would give them the messages. Of course, we'd give them good country music with it.
We are going to return and talk to James Marvell more about the Country Cavaliers, also about what he is doing today and some of the award shows he has been involved in. So stay tuned. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Photo. I'm here to tell you about Young's Photo and Video Production. Woo-wee, do we have some good deals for you today. Starting at only $30. We have complete photo restoration. And we can also colorize that old photo, change the background, or customize that photo in any way you would like. We have DVD slideshows. We have 8mm, Super 8mm, and 16mm transfers to DVD. We do DVD and CD cover design. We do portraits, and we have portrait packages. And a whole lot more. You'll find it right here at Young's Photo and Video Production. For information, call 662-701-6680. That's 662-701-6680. Or go to youngs-photo.com. Thank you.
If you hear news for the very first time, it is commonly referred to as breaking news. If you hear news you have heard before, it can very easily be mistakenly called old news. Yet, old news is really and truly history in the making. For the latest independent superstars news, go to Go to www.wildhorse.co.za and click on WHIS News 21, an online newspaper dedicated to the reporting of news about independent artists worldwide. On WHIS News 21, the independent artist stands side by side with a major artist. WHIS News 21, another free service from Wild Horse Entertainment. Wild Horse Entertainment. Wild Horse Entertainment. Horse Entertainment.
Now, here's a couple of youngsters you'll understand and who you'll be hearing a lot of in the future. Country music, they got a great medley to it. Merle Haggard. Oh, they do? Meet the Country Cavaleers.
We're back. If you've just joined us, we're with James Marvell, and as we told you at the beginning of the interview, he was with Mercy back in the 60s that had the #1 Billboard chart song, Love Can Make You Happy, or Will Make You Happy.
Love can make you happy.
Can make you happy.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was the #2 song on Billboard back in the 60s. #1 at that time was the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
But they were up there with the best of them in the music of the 60s. Then, as the music took a change, a pace through the 60s and then the 70s and then the 80s, and then he was with the Country Cavaleers, and I think it was just the two of you, right?
Right. Buddy Good and I, he was in the band Mercy.
Mercy, yeah.
We left Mercy. It was a wonderful group. You know, it was a group that was more family oriented, and that's what I like. That's what I guess has been over my life, even as a witness, you know, to eventually find out that Jesus Christ was the answer. Mercy. So his mercy is really what's important here. But we left the band to pursue our love for country music and to give the kids an anti-drug message. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. And to do good, clean, family type of country. This was in the early 70s, around 1970. And when the folks see us, Buddy and I, it just doesn't fit. We were doing it, we had that look before there was such a thing as long hair and country. So we were a little bit ahead of our time. We were having problems. Folks didn't quite understand, but we had a mission. We wanted to do that, you know.
The songs you sung while you were with Buddy and the Country Cavaliers, was it music that was original, or did you use a lot of the country music?
We would go in places and do songs like Jambalaya or, you know, your standard country songs. I remember our tours through Texas and out there in San Antonio. The San Antonio Express would write about us. You can find that on the internet, San Antonio Express. But we would be touring, and we'd do those kind of songs that were popular then. We'd steer away really from the beer drinking songs and all that, but we'd have the love songs, the country songs. And remember, our manager would take us and hide us. We would be hidden because at that time, it was during the movie Easy Rider, and even before, And they were like saying, long hair, there ain't no way we're going to let these guys in here. So we'd have to be hidden, and we were brought in from the back. And there we were, hair down to here, cowboy hats. This is before the Waylon and Willie movements or the David Allan Coe or any of that. We were doing it there. We were risking our lives, literally, because we love music. So we'd get in there with a police escort, and everybody in the place, you could hear a pin drop, and the tension would build. They wanted to hang us in Texas. But it was just so amazing. But after we started to sing, we'd hit it hard. The place got all, just lit up like one of those movies, throwing their hats up in the air and yeehaw, and they really loved it. So we started to gain popularity because they saw that we were real and, what we liked. We liked the country music, and even in those places, I would throw in a song like How Great Thou Art. This was before that was more acceptable, but, that's hard to do in these honky-tonks. So I tried to do the best I could with what I had, and I'm still here today.
Well, we left the 70s and we went to the 80s, and it seems like country music took a crossover. I mean, from the old country music to Alabama, to the Doobie Brothers, they were more pop too. But I think the Bellamy Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I think of all the people, Johnny Lee, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, and songs that became big hits. It seems like country took the center stage from the old rock and roll, and we hadn't got into hip hop yet and all of that.
Well,
but, country in the 80s became very big when you think about it.
It did, and, of course, it probably gave birth to what they call now country gospel. That's a good, wonderful part of the music industry, Christian country. I believe I used to see Morgan and Morgan out there with their music, and they've also even recorded one of my originals. They've done a wonderful job with that.
That's a beautiful song. It really was. I can't even think of it now.
Best thing God ever made.
That's right. In fact, William sung that at his son's wedding.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy. Very happy. Very happy.
He sure, that's a beautiful song if you've never heard it. Beautiful song.
I heard him back there. He said he still does it.
Yeah, he does. He still does the song, Best Thing God Ever Made. And it was a beautiful song and was recorded. And as you said, we saw from the country music, we saw Christian country come about. And when did you actually move into the Christian country area?
Well, now I'm going to back up a little. In 1992, what gave motivation to me, because I've always loved gospel music. As a matter of fact, Roy might have, your sound person, they might have an old song I wrote, which was recorded again in the 90s for video, for television, called Prophecy. So I wrote that 40 years ago, and it deals with Matthew 24, and look at today's world we're living in. We might be headed for that, in that direction.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And he said,
Now here's a prophecy, my friends, that in the latter days they'll come such times as there had never been and never will be once again. It's in Matthew's 24, and it's right now at the door of our lives.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in many places.
Now here's another word of truth. There shall be wars and rumors too, and many earthquakes there will be. The time is so near, can't you see? It's in Matthew 24, and it's right now at the door of our lives. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. There is a way we can be saved before it gets too near the end. Accept the Lord into your hearts. There is no other way, my friends. It's in Matthew 24, and it's right now at the door of our lives. Prophecy.
Heaven and earth shall pass away, but these words will never pass away. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations. And then shall the end come.
So I've always loved it. After I found the Lord, after I believed that Jesus Christ is Lord, it was through an evangelist in Nashville in the early 70s. I accepted Christ, and I heard the preaching of Bob Harrington, the chaplain of Bourbon Street, and something caught my attention, the Word of God. I guess it all began to work, and I loved country music, as I said, and even wound up on the road, believe it or not, with our beloved Leroy Jenkins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did some programs with Leroy Jenkins out of Delaware, Ohio, but I've always liked it. So in '92, it really got my attention when I was in Branson with Willie Nelson, and I'll tell you that story whenever you want to hear it.
Well, that's good. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back to hear how he was in Branson with the very famous Willie Nelson. Stay tuned.
Hi, folks. This is Bobby Pizzazz. And hey, I want to tell you about the new Give Me a Break radio show. It's about to come your way. Watch this little commercial, and it'll explain more. Hi, folks. This is Bobby Pizzazz, and I'm the producer of Give Me a Break Radio. And from time to time, we have co-hosts, and we feature many songwriters from around the world, some of the most famous and some of the unknowns. It's a safe place for everybody to explore and think outside the box. All materials presented on Give Me a Break Radio are royalty-free as agreed to by the owners thereof, and programming is presented as educational and informational purposes, as no artist, writer, or publisher are paid for their appearance. But tune in to Give Me a Break Radio, coming to you soon. BobbyPizzazz@yahoo.com. GiveMeABreakRadio.com.
Welcome to the Branson Gospel Groove with Jerry and Sharon Mays of Heart to Heart Music Group. They seek to assist you in deepening your spiritual journey through personal evangelism and great gospel music. This show features informative topics and very interesting guests. Here's your hosts, Jerry and Sharon.
Hey, this is Heart to Heart.
Stay tuned right here for the Branson Gospel Groove. God bless, Godspeed, and keep that gospel music turned up.
And we are back with James Marvell, and he is here talking about his career that spans from the 60s to today. And if you've just joined us, as I say at the beginning of every one of our segments, he was with the group Mercy back in the 60s, had the #1 Billboard chart hit, Love Can Make You Happy, and it's good to have him here.
I've been so many places, I'm losing track.
Now
I'm here on TV7. Wow.
Yeah, you're here now. But we were talking before we went to the break that you were in Branson with Willie Nelson. How did that originate?
That is so amazing. Through the years, and I believe maybe someone can put it on the screen, I became a jewelry designer. Do you remember that?
Right, I do remember.
And I created special designs. In this music business, folks, you just can't sing a song. You better make a living. And but I created some jewelry for Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, the famous One Piece at a Time. Hopefully, maybe you have some photos of John holding my jewelry, June Carter there. And I wound up in Branson through my jewelry. And I was just doing so well with it. And I was being blessed abundantly. I was selling jewelry left and right. So there we are in Branson with the Willie Nelson Theater, the Ozark Theater. The Johnny Minnick family, a gospel group, they were kind of getting started. They would drive in from Arkansas to Branson on the weekend, and they would be in this theater packed. It's like a 1,500 seater, but no, 20 people, and that's really hard. Something moved on me to try to help them with that work. I was doing so well. I was being blessed. I wanted to give back. Willie gave me the run of his theater, Willie Nelson, and the rest is history. I pushed and promoted the beginning, because of the Lord, it's nothing I did, of the beginnings of worship, theater worship, which now, years later, it's still going on. That's a popular thing, where they had their worship services in the theaters, but the ironic part, it started through Willie. Willie Nelson gave me the run of the theater, and I just began to take over, and I wanted to promote God's work. And I promoted the Minnick family, and now, of course, Johnny Minnick, I believe he's with the Happy Goodmen right now. But that's how that era started, and there are old clippings from 1992 that I've given to you folks so you can show them there as we speak about this. But that's the true history of worship. Later, Barbara Fairchild got involved after it took off and became so big, and she was promoting the worship services from her theater she was at, the Mel Tillis Theater.
Right.
And she would promote it, and I would promote it. And you can see in those old clippings there, you'll see Barbara and I, and the big headlines, overflowing attendance at the Willie Nelson Ozark Theater. It got so much attention. The owners of the theater endorsed me. Willie Nelson's manager endorsed me. Mr. Brown was the head of the musicians union there. He sends me an endorsement. I believe I gave you folks how amazed he was that God did such an amazing work. And I still believe it, God's work, as much as I respect Willie and those folks, God's work has to be more important.
That's right.
It just has to be.
Hello, I'm Randy Plummer, and my folks and I had the third family theater here in Branson called the Plummer Family Country Music Show. And today, I want to talk about a buddy of mine. His name is James Marvell, and he was very instrumental in the early days, around 1992, helping to get the gospel music industry going here. He worked with the Willie Nelson Theater, and very instrumental in starting the gospel music industry here in Branson. He helped with the Johnny Minnick family, getting them going here to promote gospel music. And not only promoting, but singing and just putting these events together. So James, I just want to congratulate you on all your accomplishments you've done here in Branson. God bless you.
Well, you also appeared, I know we were there one time, you were at Jim Owen Theater, I think.
Right, and I enjoyed that. That was later, of course.
Mhm.
That's around 2006. And I was part of the Jim Owen show. He wrote some great hits. Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, and so many others.
Yeah, there was a lot of there are a lot of theaters in Branson. A lot of them have changed. I remember going to the Bobby Vinton Theater and all, but a lot of people have come and gone in Branson, but it's still a great musical place.
Oh, yeah. I loved it when you folks came in, you and the crew, and brought all your cameras with you and your family.
Yes.
And enjoyed it there, and I really, really enjoy that, to see you guys.
Well, we enjoyed being there. Now, since Jim Owen, that was 2006.
Right, but the other was 1992.
Where have you been since then up to now?
Where have I been?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Well, I've been calling you guys on the phone, and I'm asking William, well, do you have my new record? So we did that for a lot of years, and William will remember that because of Christian country.
That's right.
That Branson kind of gave me an idea that maybe that's the music that's coming, and I believe it was true. Matter of fact, I loved it so much, I recorded a song in that time, around 93, 94, titled Only Christian Country.
Next on Gospel Music Today, we'll go to the archives and hear James Marvell. I think we have something very special for the archives today.
Yes, we do. We have a clip from a television program back in the 1990s featuring James Marvell, a new friend of ours. He had a #1 song back then called Only Christian Country, and that song has become the theme song for the ICGMA convention that's held every year at the beginning of August, and he will be singing that in honor of the 60th anniversary of the ICGMA. So James Marvell and Only Christian Country, that's up next on Gospel Music Today.
When I was young, I'd ride those country roads, rock and rollin' with the radio. I was wild and free, that's all I'd ever be. Now there's only Christian country for me. When you're young, rock and roll's for you. When you're sad, you only want the blues. When you get a little older, rock and roll will move right over. Only Christian country, only Christian country, only Christian country. Everybody! Rock and roll's for you. You're sad, you only want the blues. When you get a little older, rock and roll will move all over. Only Christian country, only Christian country.
I want to thank Wendy Duvall and Billy Holcomb for making that the ICGMA theme song. God bless you, Wendy, and thank you, Billy. Bye-bye.
My goodness, it became, and it still is, it's the official, exclusive theme song of the International Country Gospel Music Association, the ICGMA, to this day. Thanks to Wendy Duvall. And recently we did a little film there with Wendy in it. She was the only female president in the history of the ICGMA, and I believe I like females. She voted my song in to be official theme song, and I was thankful for that. But she is really a super person. I want to give her a lot of credit. She was there in the beginning of it, more or less. Billy Holcomb is the founder, along with Brother Thompson, the original founding of it 60 years ago. Just this year, they celebrated their 60th anniversary, and I was there, and yeah, had a good time.
Wendy.
Hi,
Good,
Monroe.
good to see you
again.
Well, I think that you deserve a lot. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
here at the ICGMA Award, everybody loves you. But she was one of the first folks there with Billy Holcomb at the ICGMA. I really don't give awards, they do. But I wanted to give her this. It's a beautiful marble plaque made out of marble with the words, "How Great Thou Art." And it's from James Marvell to Wendy, because you deserve that and much more for all you've done for the ICGMA.
Thank you, Marvell.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Wendy Duvall. I'd like to tell you the story of the ICGMA. ICGMA was a ministry given to me and Billy Holcomb about 40 years ago, and we've enjoyed it immensely. I went to work for Billy. He showed me how to be a promoter. He showed me how to be everything I do with the ICGMA. And it was a ministry to me. It's always going to be a ministry to me. It'll always be in my heart. I love the ICGMA with everything in me. It's something that God blessed me with that I will always, always love. And I'd like to mention James Marvell. Now, James Marvell is a very special man, a very special friend to me. And one day we heard him sing Only Christian Country, which is the official original theme song for the ICGMA. And I wrote him a letter and told him we'd like to make it the theme song for the ICGMA. And of course he gladly did that. And we appreciate it so much, Marvell. You've been such a wonder for us, and we love you. And thanks, Dan, for having me here tonight.
And the voice I hear falling on my...
Yes, you've just come back from an award show in Missouri, I believe.
With them, yeah, with the ICGMA.
And I know that had to be a big event going on there, and but it brings you up to today because you're still recording today.
I sure am.
And you have a brand new song out. In fact, that's what you're doing in Bruce, Mississippi. You're promoting all over and throughout this new song. Tell us about Summer Winds.
Well, Summer Winds just came out, brand new, and I'm hoping you folks will play it. I was told, I'm not for sure how it's going to work out for the interview, but Roy, the fellow who's working back there on putting all this together, he said he might use it on the credits. So the folks that listen in, they'll hear a little bit of Summer Winds, and you have a copy here.
And it was recorded in Nashville.
Recorded in Nashville, and when I was recording Summer Winds, I did another song, and that comes out in November. And I hope you got a video clip of Johnny Cash's sister, Joanne Cash. She's with me in the studio, and she's singing a song that we're going to release later, Time for a New.
What's in the mind? The mystery unfolds. The story now is told. We see the sky is blue. It's time for a new. Time for a new. It's time for a new. Time for a new.
I'm excited because, of course, you know, the Cash name is
very
legendary. And Joanne said, sure, I'll record that with you. That was just last week and a half ago. But Summer Winds was written, the other one was written by Dennis DiChiaro, and so is the other one, Time for a New, with Joanne Cash and I.
The writer of this song, Summer Winds, how did you two get together?
There's a label they're called Colt Records in Nashville. J.K. Coltrain put us together, and he heads up Colt Records. They're the award-winning label this year. In Nashville, they were given the Josie Awards. It's a big deal for an independent label to have that, so I'm part of a label that's the top label of Nashville.
Well, that's wonderful. And this song has just been released?
Been released. Hope you hear it at the end of the program.
Oh, I will. And then you're going to be traveling, promoting it, and you've left the award show and you're doing your travels to kind of promote this, right?
Exactly. And then I went to Branson, and they wanted to do a little documentary, and I believe you folks are going to get the jump on that, about my days there with the theater worship. Right. And there's a fella named Ricky Renfro. He's big in the video world, and he's also he films over at Eureka Springs, the Passion Play. Mm-hmm. He's been there for a few years with that, so he wants to put together the true history of how worship in theater worship services began, and they got a hold of me, and I was glad to go there while I was in Missouri. And you say Missouri or Missouri?
Well, whichever is correct.
Well, I'm Spanish, so I'll say Missouri.
That's fine.
Anyways, I was there with them, so I took a trip down to Nashville to see those folks, and I'm just happy. But we're going to get the jump on Ricky Renfro. Better get on it, Ricky. TV7's got it.
You're traveling. Where will you be going from here besides promoting this? What do you want the future to hold for you?
Well, I've been doing so much in the industry. In this business, you just don't know. You just try your best, and you hopefully God has a good future for me. I'm thankful to be with Colt Records in Nashville. I'm happy to be with my wife doing some shows. They might have a clip back there. Do you know that Faye and you met Faye?
I have met Faye, yes.
I want to tell you this because they may just be able to show a clip of it. We're doing shows for the baby boomers, because of the hits I had with Mercy.
Right.
So they all get dressed up, and they all dress up like the 60s, like hippies. Of course, my way of doing those shows, it's always going to be anti-drug.
Right.
Because that era brought in a lot of drugs, but the music really wasn't that way. The majority of the music was not about that.
Very clean music.
All of a sudden it got into that. There were a few that were that way, Mm-hmm. But I do the songs like All You Need Is Love, Hang On Sloopy, or Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds. By the way, Turn, Turn, Turn is from the book of Ecclesiastes.
Right.
So yeah, my wife and I, Faye, and I believe they might have a clip back here of how everything looks when we do those so-called hippie dances back in Florida.
Becky, can you hear me? You should all friend Jimmy J on Facebook. Let's hear for all these dancers.
I tell you, we see on TV now, television, the cruises from the 70s and these people who are putting the 60 cruises together, and you cruise with all the people, big names of the 60s and
Exactly.
the music of that era and the 70s music. So it's becoming quite popular. The
Right.
oldies, the golden oldies are becoming very popular.
Yeah, didn't your husband have a special show here with the Golden Oldies?
We have an oldies show. We certainly do, where we play music from the 50s, the 60s.
Well, I mean,
and
you had a
some of the
live
70s.
show. You had a live show.
Oh, yeah, we did. We've had live shows, and that was, we like to think that's when music was its best.
Oh, my goodness, I just love it. People can find me on YouTube with Chubby Checker. If they type in Chubby Checker and James Marvell, there I am. He calls me up on stage, and it's just a lot of fun. It really is.
We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, I want Marvell to sing another song for us right here on the set, so stay tuned. We'll be back.
Hello, Johnny Cash fans. This is James Marvell. Here I am in the photo with Johnny Cash's sister, Joanne. Joanne is holding up a picture of John holding the famous one piece at a time belt buckle that I designed. I'm bringing him back after 30 years. Anyone interested in this collector buckle, just email jmarvell88@gmail.com. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime.
That's God's special gift to me. And sharing faith and hope and love with my family. And sharing faith and hope and love with my family.
And we're back with Marvell, and he's going to sing a little part of some of the song that he recorded that made him, with the group Mercy, that made the #1, 2 in Billboard.
It went like this. Love can make you happy when you find someone who cares to give a lifetime to you, and who has a love to share. Remember that?
I do remember it. I certainly do. That's a beautiful song and always a favorite. I can see why it rose to the top of the
As a matter of fact, I
Billboard
did my version, and they might have played it here at the beginning. They had Mercy's version, of course, which sold millions, and I re-recorded it, and maybe you folks heard it in the beginning. I believe they did play it.
They probably did. We have a lot of the clips you have sent us, and we're playing those. And it's just good to see you back in Bruce, Mississippi, and talk about this. Where will you leave when you leave us here?
Well, we'll hit the road towards Georgia.
Georgia.
Going to Georgia and pick up my wife, pick up my beautiful Faye. Honey, I'm on my way.
And she's in Georgia.
She's in Georgia.
But y'all live in Florida.
Yes, we do. From there, she's visiting some folks, some family, and I head back to Tampa. And we're doing, in Tampa, I thought of a good idea they came to me and they say, because we do the sock hop, my wife and I, Faye, and I thought, they wanted to do a military-type program, so we're going to go back and do a USO show. I mean, a USO sock hop. USO sock hop.
Well,
there's William. He's laughing about it.
Oh, that'll be good.
It'll be good. They're going to be all dressed up in the their outfits from back in the 40s and 50s, and do a sock hop for them, and it will be fun.
Well, it sounds exciting, and you still have a beautiful voice, and this will be in the stores, am I right?
That would be eventually in the stores. That's what Dennis DiChiaro is trying to do, get it into the stores through Colt Records. And right now, they can hear it right here on TV7.
We will be playing Summer Winds. That's Marvell's brand new song. It's beautiful. I did get to hear a preview of it just a few minutes ago. You'll want to pick up a copy, and hopefully it'll be in a store near you soon where you can get the copy of Summer Winds. Marvell, good to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Do I get a hug?
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. And
Man.
good luck with Summer Winds.
Oh, well, you know, the writer out there, Dennis DiChiaro, he's going to be excited that you're playing it here on such a great, this station's heard all over. And,
About 100-mile radius.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mike. This is Mike Crace.
Call me Redbone.
Redbone, and I'm James Marvell, and we appreciate it. Thank you for being here, letting me be here on K Country. Thank you.
Anywhere, anytime, K Country 95. We want to welcome James Marvell to the studio. He records on Colt Records, doing a Dennis DiChiaro song. This is called Summer Winds. Anywhere, anytime, K Country 95.
When the late summer winds are blowing and the southern sun says to me it's time to be going, when I don't want to leave, I won't shatter your dream. I always held your hand, not ever knowing if I am the man the cards are showing. But every time you break up, you run back to me, and I don't want to leave. I won't shatter your dream. Every time you break up, you come back to me. All the memories won't make up the loving I need, yeah. There's a dream in your heart, time is showing that it's me that you loved from the start, and I'll be knowing that I don't want to leave. You're the one I need. I don't want to leave, 'cause you're the one I need. Memories won't make up the loving I need. Every time you break up, you come back to me. In the late summer winds, 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 in the late summer winds. Yes, I wish I was the land of cotton. Old times there, they're not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixie land. Oh, I wish I was in Dixie, away, away. In Dixie was born. Bright and early, one frosty morning, look away, look away, look away, Dixie. Children, don't you cry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God and His Son, Jesus Christ, with liberty and justice for all. Hallelujah.